Welcome to the Rescue Dog Pod. My name is Helen Summerfield-Brown, and I am a rescuer, advocate, and full-time animal lover. This podcast is for all of you animal people out there, the ones who have rescues, who volunteer at shelters, who've adopted animals, cried at rescue stories, and fallen in love with the underdogs of the world. If you're curious about what really goes on behind the scenes in dog rescue, the messy, the beautiful, the heartbreaking, and the hopeful, this is your place. Each week, I'll share real stories from rescuers, fosters, adopters, vets, and advocates across the world. My hope is that this podcast inspires you, educates you, and reminds you that one person truly can make a difference. And before we dive in, I want to take a moment to thank you for listening today, and to everyone who's tuned in before. Your support means the world, and it keeps this podcast and the rescue movement going strong. Today, we're talking about something I'm really passionate about, canine enrichment. And I'm thrilled to be joined by someone who has dedicated her career to helping dogs live fuller, happier lives. Heidi LaCosse, the owner and founder of the Canine Enrichment Center. Heidi has an incredible story. After more than 15 years in retail management, she decided to follow her heart and work with animals full time. She became a professional groomer, a certified dog trainer, and ran an in-home dog boarding business for over 25 years. Through all of this, she gained an up-close understanding of dog behavior, communication, and social rituals. Her passion also led her to extensive volunteer work with the Wisconsin Humane Society and with Pets Helping People, a Milwaukee-based therapy dog organization where she's been the training director for the past 19 years. She's also an active member of the Force-Free Trainers of Wisconsin, promoting positive humane training methods. And then through her work, Heidi saw something missing in the dog care world. She wanted to create a place where dogs could thrive without pressure or performance, and where their natural instincts could shine. That vision became the Canine Enrichment Center. Heidi, welcome to the Rescue Dog Pod.
Thank you so much, Helen. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to spread the word on how important enrichment is for all dogs and all people.
Excellent. So let's start at the beginning. So, first of all, if anyone doesn't know, Heidi's a really dear friend of mine. So I'm so thrilled to have her on today. So let's start at the beginning with what inspired you to set up the Canine Enrichment Center, and what was your vision when you first started it?
Well, what inspired me was I felt that as our busy world got busier and busier, and technology made people less connected to each other as well as the furry friends that they live with, I felt the thing that was missing is people were forgetting how to be joyful and how to play with their dog.
Yeah.
And I wanted to provide a space, especially for dogs who um, were more reserved or felt uncomfortable out in the busy world, a space where they could play with their people and both would be joyful about it. And there was no pressure for performance, there was no pressure for obedience. It was just let's be together in this environment and engage with each other and learn more about each other.
Yeah, that's. I think that's really needed because, like you said, it's like we've just become so busy with technology. I mean, we've always got our heads in our phones. We're always watching TV. We're always doing something, and we really forget about that true connection with your furry friends. I mean, people take them for walks, which is great, and we're at home with them. But really, like you said, like really just like playing with them and connecting with them on a different level is really important. And we'll talk about my dogs going to your facility, which has been a great help for my dogs as well. But and like, so can you tell us a bit about what you do there and how you help the dogs and their humans connect through enrichment?
Absolutely. So I offer 30-minute private play sessions, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's 30 minutes where just you and your dog get to come into our facility. We have a variety of obstacles and enrichment activities, and it's so fulfilling to see people discover sides of their dogs that they didn't even realize. There might be a dog that loves to sniff, or there might be a dog like your Benny who
Benny.
loves obstacles and wants a challenge and is so joyful in everything he does. But I just find that in that discovery of, wow, look what my dog can do, it really deepens that relationship even more and creates a desire to find out more. Find out more
Right.
about your dog. Um,
Yeah, you
so
can be
yeah,
surprised at what they can do, right? Because I know that, another friend of ours. I will show. I'll have her nameless because she takes her dog there, and you know who I'm talking about, LG, and her dog is terrible and just run. Not terrible. I shouldn't say the word terrible. Is not as confident, but she's getting better, right? Brady's. Oh, I can't say that.
absolutely.
I can't use the names, so I'll stop saying the names. But it's all about just trying to get their dogs more confident and things like that. And it's just a lot of fun. And it's a lot of fun for the human too to see what their dog can do. And I know that you also do other things in the private sessions. You do things like the puppy classes. You do things like confidence boost sessions and obviously the Fun-gility classes which we go to. But
Mhm.
so, can you maybe talk about some of the other classes that you do and the importance of each class?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking that. It's a great question. So, in developing the Enrichment Center, I also decided that I was not interested in teaching obedience to dogs. Um,
Right,
there's nothing wrong with obedience, it definitely has its place, but it is also very pressure and performance centered.
right,
And I wanted people to realize that there's an emotion behind every action, whether it's your dog, your cat, your rabbit, your child, your partner. There is emotion behind every action, and how can we address that emotion? And let's start asking why our dogs are doing what they're doing. And when we can address that why, we discover even more about our dogs. So I started teaching classes that deal with concepts like focus or relaxation, building calmness, building self control, putting a pause between the action and what the decision that they're going to make. And then I also, one of my favorite classes is my confidence building class.
yeah,
A
that's a
lot
great
of
class.
dogs, it's a great class. A lot of dogs are afraid to offer a behavior or to make a choice because obedience normally does not allow that. And so, confidence, we build confidence through games, we build confidence through people recognizing the emotions that their dogs are feeling, why they're making the choices they're making, or why they're shutting down. That's, I love seeing a dog come out of their shell
Mm,
and feel like I can do it,
yeah,
and joy and the joy that comes with that. And then my puppy classes are unique because they focus on enrichment and exploration. Again, not on obedience, but about utilizing that dog's curiosity, the puppy's
mm,
curiosity, and shaping how they're going to see the world. Is the world going to be safe because their human is there going, I got you, don't worry, nothing bad's going to happen? Or is the world going to be scary because they aren't given as much agency as a young puppy as they need? Because they're figuring it out too.
yeah, that's true. And I like what you said about like going back to the confidence boosting thing because you talked about how with obedience training that they don't really get a choice. They have to do what the command is.
Yes.
And with your confidence boosting, it's like, well, what do you want to do? And gives them the option to take that bold step to get the confidence. So maybe can you just maybe reiterate what that is? Like how you see
Sure.
that in these dogs.
Sure, absolutely. So, for instance, in confidence boost, we explore simple obstacles. And when I say simple, I mean simple to us, maybe not to the dog.
Mm,
Uh, so, for instance, it might be as simple as, can you put your paws up on this table? And it's fascinating because as we're trying to create the scenario that will capture the dog lifting a leg or maybe putting a toe on the table, it's a lot of observation and a lot of reinforcement
mm,
for the tiny little movements. If the dog picks up their paw, I am going to mark that and praise him and give him reinforcement for that small effort because it tells him, yep, that's exactly what we're heading towards. And it's about seeing the way the individual dog approaches something like putting a paw on a table and not having a predetermined way that we think they should do it. Instead,
Right.
recognizing for that individual, that lifting of the paw is a big deal. But
Yeah.
they're starting to realize, oh, I have a choice in how I approach this. This is amazing. And when they unlock that agency and realize that their person is saying, yes, the way you choose to solve it or the way you choose to navigate an item, that's okay, and I'm going to support you all the way. I see it time and time again how dogs blossom without the pressure.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, that just goes to, I mean, obviously that sort of transcends across to humans as well. When there's not so much pressure, we seem to blossom. And I, I've seen it in my dogs, and we'll talk about my dogs later, our dogs, that, have gone to your classes and have really come out of their shell. And these are dogs who historically have been very shut down or very reserved, and it's just a way for them to express themselves. And some of the other things that you do is like a fitness boot camp. Now, I was interested in that because I'm thinking maybe I should take that. But what's the fitness boot camp and the tricks? Because like I don't know about the fitness boot camp. This one's a new one for me. So what's that one about?
Yeah, it's a new one for us as well. I actually brought in another gal who she used to be a human fitness trainer and now she does it for dogs. And her philosophy and approach is very similar to mine, where it's don't pressure the dog, let them choose, see what they're going to offer, and work from there. The difference being is that she'll tell you, okay, when your dog puts 2 feet up on a platform and has the back feet on the floor, it's working this muscle or it's good for the core. So she gets more into that physical fitness aspect and can tell you what muscles it's working, why it's good for them, why a certain position may not be as good, but it's all centered around that aspect of play. Play and
Okay.
choice. Huge. And if the dog, if the dog isn't doing it, if the dog isn't doing it one time, it's information. It's not
Yeah.
wrong. It's just information. Maybe your dog's uncomfortable. Maybe they're a little stiffer going to the right than they are going to the left. And it's all about that information gathering and saying, okay, how can I make it easier? How can I help? Are you in discomfort? Maybe we need to check that out. So the fitness boot camps are really a lot of fun, but they are centered around dogs' physical fitness.
I like that one because like that could also sort of help with dogs that maybe have some physical therapy issues like arthritis, obviously obesity in some dogs. Don't judge me because I have some dogs that are a bit overweight, but it probably also coincides with that. I know you're laughing because you know what I'm talking about, but there's no fat shaming on the show. So I think some of these, we've taken the Fun-gility classes, and we've also taken the, what was the name of the class that we had when we first met you, which we'll talk about later. What was that class called? That was just the adult. What was that one?
I thought when I first met you it was the Fun-gility class, and then you come for the private play
Ah,
sessions.
right. Okay. Yep, that's true. Okay, good, good. So we'll talk about, because that's it was a really fun time, and that's how we got to meet. But we'll talk about that time when we first met. But for anyone who's like listening to who's like new to canine enrichment, like I know you're called the canine enrichment, but what really is canine enrichment? What is it? If you not to define the term, but maybe on a broad scale, what is canine enrichment?
Yeah. What? So on a broad scale, which I love that, enrichment really is all about engagement and enhancement. Engagement with your person, engagement with other dogs, other animals, the environment, obstacles, toys, puzzles, and in a way that is joyful for the individual dog, that enhances their life. You see a pep in their step. You see that moment where they realize that they have agency and that they're being listened to. So it's about enhancing their life.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we do that, and it's also good, for the dog's well-being and for the human-dog relationship. I mean, you've probably seen many stories, and maybe you can talk about that. The stories that you've seen where it has increased the bond between the owner and the dog, or the human and the dog. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. What you've been seeing since you've been starting this.
So since I've been starting this, a lot of what I see is it, it's actually like a sigh of relief from the people, from the guardians with their dogs, because I love to tell people a walk is all about your dog. A walk is about the dog engaging with the environment. Their sense of smell is
Mm,
amazing. And the way that they feel safe in their environment is to know who's been there, what's up, is there a sick dog in the neighborhood, a female dog in the neighborhood, a new dog in the neighborhood.
mm.
And by letting them smell, smell is how they see their world primarily. Sight is secondary. And
Interesting.
so when people come to me and they're like, I want my dog to walk at my side and I know I'm not supposed to let him sniff, I'm waving that flag going, please let them sniff, because it is it is a process. So when a dog inhales, 12% of that inhalation goes to dissecting what they're smelling. And 12
Interesting.
and 12% doesn't sound like a lot, except for us, it's zero. So
Wow.
12% goes to dissecting what they're smelling, and 88% goes to respiration. For us, it's 100% goes to respiration. So they are exploring their entire world, and the act of processing those smells is tiring. So they're getting that mental workout while their body is physically moving. So it's not about how far you go on a walk. It's truly about how much is your dog getting to explore on that walk.
I
That
like that. I like that because it's true. Like people like always like when they see them walking, they're like they pull them close in, and their dogs are just walking in a straight line. They're following you, and me, I'm always like when I go out walking, I'm like fa la 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 la, smell the roses. We might not get very far, but they seem to be having a good time, so I just let them. But a lot of people, I'm glad you talked about that because a lot of people do have that preconceived idea that a walk means tight on the leash. I mean, if you obviously
yeah,
if you have a dog that maybe is problematic or I don't know. Maybe you can talk about that. Like, is it for all dogs? Like people think their dogs should be by their side if they're aggressive or something like that. I don't know. But I like how your approach is.
and it's beneficial for all dogs. I mean, if I go out on a stroll with you, let's say, and you're a little concerned about somebody walking towards us, and I pull you in close, and you have very little ability to move away from what
Mm,
you're concerned about, it makes your fear greater, not less.
yeah.
So if we walk in the opposite direction, or we walk away from what you're concerned about, then you can relax because there's space. So letting your dog sniff, honestly, that's for everybody. And if you watch, so you have an international rescue, you deal with a lot of street dogs, a lot of dogs
Hmm.
that don't have homes. If you watch those dogs, when they're out and about moving, they don't move in a straight line with their head up. They move around and they're sniffing their environment, they're sniffing the ground, they're sniffing walls, they're sniffing trees and grass.
Hmm.
That's how dogs naturally move. When we pull them in really close for a walk, it's also an unnatural posture for them to be walking in.
Right, that is so true.
And
It's like that's really true. That is so true because like you said, I have an international rescue, and the dogs that we have are their heads are down. They're trying to explore to see if there's other dogs in the area, territorial dogs, and they're looking for food or something like that. And that's what they naturally do. So why are we not enhancing what they naturally do? Are we just trying to get them to conform to what we want them to do? But we should be allowing them to do, in part, what they want to do because that's what they're naturally doing.
exactly, exactly. And we are choosing to bring them into our life. That is one part they don't get a choice in. And so we should be in partnership with them. We
Right.
should be
Yep.
in partnership, not in dictatorship.
I
So
love
they
that partnership. Love that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. And so, okay, I'll ask you a quick question on a side note. Like, what about dogs on beds and furniture? Because, like, a lot of people like, oh, no, don't have your dog on your bed, don't have your dog on your furniture. I don't know if you know the answer to this, but what is your view on that?
So the internet is a phenomenal thing for us to have.
Hmm.
However, it's also full of information that's very old school, and again, when we were in the mindset of, we want dominion over the animals and they need to know we're boss and they
Mm.
need to know we're alpha, guess what? Your dog knows that you're not a dog. And the whole alpha and dominance viewpoint has been debunked by science a long time ago. Dogs are social. They're social creatures. They want to be with us. They chose to share their lives with us. Having them on the bed, my dogs sleep on the bed with me. They are not they're not trying to tell me they're boss. They're saying, "Dang, this is a nice bed. I'd like a nice bed too." And I
Right.
love the companionship of my dogs on the bed. So having your dog in the bed with you or on the bed with you or on the furniture. My dog sits in my chair or on the couch with me when I'm watching a show. I love that.
Me
And
too.
it does not it does not promote your dog trying to take control of your life. That is not what they are doing.
Right.
It, it's again, we should be in partnership and say what do they like. If
You know,
you're neat Nick and the hair bothers you, I can understand not wanting the dog on the furniture, and that's okay. But then provide a beautiful bed on the floor or somewhere or several of them because you know what, your dog wants to be comfortable too.
exactly. And my dogs actually, like at night time, at night, we have watching the TV, Teresa's on the end. I've got Cancer in the middle. I've got probably Beckett maybe next. And then there's Wobbles on the end. And I'm on the floor. And Teresa's always like going, why don't you just move him? I'm like, hey, he looks comfortable. And I'll just sit on the floor. I'm okay with that. But it's not, me saying Wobbles is the boss or anybody's the boss. It's just like, yeah, they look comfortable. I'm okay sitting on the floor. And it's the same in the bed. You sleep like pretzels because you got dogs, your legs wrapped around dogs, whatever. But that's your choice. That's okay, and they're happy as can be. And it's the same goes for like when people say you should feed yourself first before you feed the animals. And now I never do that because I feel bad eating in front of the dogs. But what is that similar thing? Like it's old school thinking about feeding
Yes,
yourself first.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it is. It that all goes back to that whole dominance theory, and yeah, like I said, science debunked that a long, long time ago.
That's
And
good because I always kind of thought it was silly because they're not looking at me going, okay, you're the alpha, you eating first. I mean, they don't know I'm eating a bowl of cereal. I mean, do they know? I don't know.
and the reality is, we all have to feed our dogs. They can see we're giving them food. We are providing. So it doesn't really matter. Are you eating first? Are you eating last? Are you eating at the same time? You know, it doesn't. Yes, that's old school. It doesn't matter. Feed your dogs whenever. You don't have to eat first. You don't have to eat. There's another one that says, act like you're eating some of their food out of the bowl. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. But I have done it sometimes when like my dogs aren't eating and I pretend and they only want to eat what you're eating for some weird
Oh,
reason. So
sure,
I'll
sure.
take something of them like some kibble or I'll go num nums and they never fall for it. But you try it anyway because you act like an idiot. But that's what you do. But so for anyone that doesn't know, so I actually met you through a mutual friend who and our dog Benson, who is also known as the Agility King, and because he's a rock star. And we did our very first class with you, and we talk about this all the time, and we laugh about it because the first time we did it, it was at a group of like I think it was like 7, 8 dogs maybe, and Laurie, oh, I can't say the names because I'll have to protect the innocent, but we were so loud, rambunctious, and we really honestly walked out of there after the first day going, she hates us. Heidi hates us because we're just so interruptive. We were just like, we were having a blast. Uh, the other person's dog was not doing anything, and that was quite funny. Our dog was kicking it because Benson, again, is the agility king. But it was really a lot of fun, and it was just like we always laugh about it how much we thought you hated us, which in hindsight now we're good friends. But Benson loved it, and I remember that first time when we did the you remember we did the course and we had to do it in a certain without your help or anything, and we had our
Yes,
Team Benson stickers. Like, do you see that a lot? Like a lot of people just absolutely come and have a blast. Not the fact that they like think that they didn't like you, but you didn't like us. But maybe Tell us about Benson, because I need some praise because he's listening. Benson, my dog's
Oh,
listening, so he wants some
oh,
praise, please.
Benson. Oh, Benson, you are the best. Benson is the epitome of a very confident dog and a very joyful dog. Life, Benson is joy. He is like, show me what you got for me, and I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do it. You obviously have a wonderful relationship with him because he looks to you and goes, I know I'm safe. I
Yeah.
know I'm safe enough to try anything and nothing bad will happen. And you know, the name of the class is Fun-gility.
Yeah,
And,
that's
and what I love is many people will come into class and the first thing they'll say to me is, "Oh, my dog doesn't have any obedience." That doesn't matter. This is not about obedience. It wouldn't be fun if your dog felt pressure. This is about helping your dog discover their ways to use their body and leap over things and go through things and
Yeah, you set up
walk
some
around.
good stuff there. I mean, every time we go there, like when we set up a course when Benson comes because we go every other week, and it's like, okay, I've got a new challenge for Benson today, whether it be a ball at the end of a thing or something that he has to stand on. And what does he do every time, Heidi? What does he do?
He rocks it.
He rocks it.
He gets that challenge and goes, yeah. What else you got for me? That
Yeah,
was
right.
he is the agility king. He is
He
amazing.
it not bad for a street dog, and we take our other dogs there, and we take Garda there, and you've seen Garda, who's a rescue from Thailand, who whipped. I mean, what when you first saw Garda when he first came, as opposed to now, what's the difference you see in him?
You know, that for one, it's huge because what's great about Garda is Garda did what we call observational learning. He would watch Benny and he'd follow along. He wouldn't go on anything. And it was kind of like he took a while and just would watch Benny do all the different things. And in that, he learned it's safe, nothing's going to fall, nothing's going to, crash down on me or with me on it. And he he became so confident too, and now he goes through the tunnel, he goes over the ladder, he does the A-frame.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. And I think when he comes now, before he seemed concerned, and now I think he actually smiles.
He does. His tail is always wagging, and like he used to like be so fearful. Like we would stand at the gate because what I love about this place too is that it's just you and your dog. So you don't get involved unless we obviously we chat, but it's about you and your dog. So you're not sitting there, inside there. You're just watching and he used to like be scared of the gate a little bit if you were out there, but now he comes up and he's wagging his tail, and it's the same with Hogan. We take our pit bull Hogan, who he was when he first came, he was like tail was pretty much in, and now like with Hogan, what does he do now? He's kind of walking around too. He's going up things.
Exactly. Yes, he is. And one of the things I greatly admire is that both you and Teresa did not have expectations that
Mm.
everybody should do everything. And just like a person, sometimes it takes time to feel comfortable, time to observe and determine, do I feel safe in this environment? Do I feel like that's going to be a safe adventure? And with time, they just blossom. They
Mm.
just blossom. And one of my greatest joys is to watch your dogs all going over the A frame and all going over bridges and doing ladders and the tunnel. And to think back like, wow, wow. Benny was the leader. Benny was the one who was so joyful in navigating everything, and he showed his brothers, don't worry about it. There's nothing bad is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
that's
Mm-hmm.
huge.
That is
One dog.
amazing, and it's great. It's good because you like, I know like there are certain things like it's like we celebrate a win if say one of the dogs jumps up on the platform that never
Yeah,
used to do that. I mean, while it might be to some dogs going, that's an easy peasy. I jump up there all the time, but for that dog, that is a huge win, and we celebrate it every time we video it. We celebrate it, and you see that a lot. I'm sure with a lot of dogs that you see, just the small wins.
absolutely. And you have to celebrate the smallest of wins to help your dog get the confidence to move forward. And sometimes they're going to move forward and sometimes they're going to be move back. Sometimes the latter is okay, and other times they're going to come in and go, I'm not feeling comfortable with that today. But it's about discovering your individual dog and celebrating anything they do that for them might be a challenge. Just like you
Mm.
said, for some dogs, jumping on a table might not be a big deal. And for other dogs, it's huge.
Yeah, yep. And you kind of customize, I would say, the course. We call it a course because you set up like the different courses. There's ladders, there's things like that. But for example, if you have a dog that's more interested in sniffing and getting things, you can sort of customize the play equipment, correct?
Oh, definitely. I most definitely do. And then I'll put out a variety of enrichment activities. Some will be placed very easy for the dog to access, some medium, and then we have, harder in case they're up for the challenge. And if not, that's okay.
Yeah, so you like so if you say for instance if I have a dog that's like likes to get treats out, find treats and they're very food motivated, you know because like our courses that we set up while my dogs are food motivated, they prefer to play on the equipment. They prefer to go over the A-frames. They prefer to walk across platforms. And if you put out a bucket full of some enrichment toys, they kind of go meh. So it's like you really truly get to know the dog and set it up so that they get the best out of each appointment. Correct?
Absolutely. And one of my favorite things is um, many times when I speak to people about playing with their dog, the first the first idea they have is fetch. I find it often people will say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, my dog doesn't like to play. He won't fetch a ball." Fetch is a very human-centric game. It is not a game that you see two dogs doing. Um, and so it's discovering, like you said, maybe your dog loves to sniff. Well, you can create a lot of games with sniffing.
Mm.
Um, and or like your dogs, they want to be more physical. Set up the obstacles, make them interesting. So there might be a little bit of problem solving for them. And yeah, every dog is so different. And one of my joys is seeing dogs blossom and grow and flourish and hearing people say, wow, I didn't think my dog would do that, or I didn't think my dog could do that.
Right. Yeah.
And that brings me such joy because that is the whole point, to discover your own individual dog.
Right. It sounds like you have to train the owners more than the dogs sometimes because, a lot of people, like you said, they walk in, they go, my dog doesn't know how to do anything. And they kind of put their dog in like in a failure mode already. But through doing this, they, like you said, they go, wow, I didn't know my dog could do any of that. And sometimes it's just about to say to your owners, just watch, just see the dog, like let the dog do what it wants to do naturally, and you'll be very surprised.
Absolutely, 100%. And sometimes it takes two visits, because the first visit, if you have a dog that has never been there before, they might not be comfortable with the space because they don't know what to expect.
Mm.
And so that first visit, they just might be exploring the entire space and nosing around, doing a few activities here and there. And then the second visit, they come running in the door like, "Let's go! I know what this is about. There's no pressure. It's like a Disney for dogs."
Yeah,
And
it's a
that
lot of
that's
fun.
wonderful to see.
Yep. So for listeners that who are in who want to bring enrichment into their own dogs' lives, maybe like what are some simple things that they can do at home or on walks to keep their dogs engaged and happy?
Oh, that's a great question. So on walks, the first thing I would say is get a long line. You can, get them, you can get them online. You can get them 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 100 feet, whatever your walking space will allow. Get a long line and let your dog explore and be a partner in that exploration. Go over and say, oh, what are you looking at, or what are you sniffing? We have such a knee-jerk reaction that when our dogs drop their nose to sniff something, we automatically think it's something bad and we yank them away.
Yeah, that's true.
And, and I mean, we all have done it, right? Um, but honestly, sometimes there's a scent in the grass or on a leaf, and they are just standing there sniffing it, and we should let them. They're processing those smells, and we can't even imagine what they're smelling, but be in partnership and say, oh, what is that? And if I oftentimes say to people, your dog waits all day long for that walk. If they want to sniff a single blade of grass for 10 minutes, hey, let them sniff that blade of grass.
Right?
They're
That's how they choose their time. That's what they want to do.
exactly. And like I mentioned earlier, it is definitely not about the distance. It is about what are they getting on that walk, and the walk should always be for them. That's how I would enhance the walk. As far as things you can do at home, some dogs love to shred. Cardboard is a great medium to shred, or just paper. But of course,
Hmm.
if your dog wants to ingest all of it, that's probably not a good idea. Um, but shredding is fun. You can make a lot of DIY puzzles using just boxes, blankets, towels. Um, I'd like to mention that I do have a free YouTube channel called Canine Enrichment Center, and I feature on there all DIY options that you can do with your dog. So it's going to cost you very little or no money at all to offer your dog different enrichment activities and discover what exactly your dog likes. Some dogs love to puzzle things out, and some dogs would rather not and want either something easy or they want to do something physical, and that's okay.
Right. But could you give an example of like one really, what like one of the most popular DUI kind of a projects that dogs love? Is it like the
Yeah,
treats in a bottle, or what's the
so
popular ones?
I'd say the popular one is to take several boxes, stack them up in a configuration, or if your dog is concerned about boxes moving,
Hmm.
lay them flat on the ground, some facing up, some facing down, and then just take some kibble or treats and spread them all around in there, and let your dog tunnel through the boxes, put their head in the boxes, put their head under the boxes, and find the food. It doesn't take anything more than you setting it up, and your dog is having a great time finding the treats and all the nooks and crannies. I'd say that's one of the most popular and one of the most simple, because
Hmm.
we all have boxes now that we're ordering online. There,
Exactly. Yeah. It's a good box. Do you always say that? It's like every time we get a box in and we're like looking at it, we don't want to throw it away because we're like, that's a good box. And you just keep you keep that box for like forever today because it's a good. You can't throw it out because it's a good box. So you might use it one day. So okay, boxes are really good. What about treats in bottles, or is that plastic is not good? I mean, that might be dangerous. Is that another good option?
so it is. You can take a gallon jug, a gallon milk jug. You can take a soda bottle, any kind, a juice bottle, and take off the plastic cap, take off the little plastic collar, and take off the label,
Hmm.
if you can, and just throw some throw some treats or kibble in there and let your dog bat it around. You'd be amazed at how long they can be occupied with some treats in a bottle. And
Right.
dogs like the crinkle of the bottle, and so they'll just, even after the treats are out, they'll still play with the bottle and crinkle it and make the noise.
Yeah, because we all think that we have to buy these expensive toys. Because how many times have you brought like a really expensive toy and you've given it to them and there's like a plastic bottle and they'll go, yeah, I'll take the plastic bottle, or they'll take the box that the toy came in, or the wrapper that the toy
Exactly.
came in because they're
Absolutely.
very curious. Yeah. So like you said, it's really important. I mean, things are so expensive now. So doing these DUI home enrichment things is really important, and it's really simple to do. And I encourage everybody to go check out the YouTube channel because I think it's important that we come up with different ways of entertaining your dog, especially we're all working long hours, and things like that, and your head's always at a phone. So coming up with these things that can entertain, it's like television for dogs. Um, so it keeps them entertained. What else you got? Because I'm writing this down, Heidi, so that I can go and do some stuff. I mean, I've got 7 dogs, so it's a bit difficult. Do you find that difficult when there's multiple dogs in the house?
It can be. It can be if food is an issue. Uh, it can be, but there are there are activities. Like I said, if you have a dog that loves to shred, like I give my dogs toilet paper tubes, paper
Mm-hmm.
towel rolls, or
Mm-hmm.
boxes every single day because they love to shred, and it only takes a couple of minutes to sweep it all up and put it in recycle. It's
Hmm.
very easy, but it actually tires them out. And I just wanted to mention before I give you more ideas, I also wanted to mention that the important thing about enrichment is not how long it's occupying your dog. Oftentimes I hear people say, "Yeah, but my dog only takes 5 minutes to rip the box, and then they're looking for another one." And people tend to equate good enrichment with length of time,
Mm.
and that's not it. It's about fulfilling a need or a drive that your dog has in a way that expends energy for them. So shredding is a great example. My dog can I can give them an Amazon box of medium size. They'll both tear into it and shred it, and then they make the bigger pieces and smaller pieces, and then they go and take a nap. And it doesn't take them all that long to do it, but it was just that they're expending this energy.
No, that is
Um,
great. I love that because Saji, one of our dogs, I can give him a slipper. We'll give him a slipper, and he loves it, and he'll throw it around until he gets the sole out, and then he's done. That was his goal, was to get the sole out, and then he goes and takes a nap. So it's like it's a used. So we have like a multitude of used slippers around, but that's just something simple like a slipper. Getting a sole out is enrichment to them. So it doesn't always have to be these very expensive, enrichment toys. It's about what you can create and what you have in your own house that you can make up different things to keep them entertained.
exactly. It can be as simple as if your dog has a lot of soft toys, put them in a box or a bin, sprinkle some food or treats in there, and walk away. I mean, enrichment is not difficult. It's just you have to take a couple minutes to do it, and your dog will be so grateful. And the
Mm.
great thing is if you have, again, if you have a dog that's concerned with things that are novel, all of a sudden they're digging in a box that might have toilet paper tubes in it, or toilet paper tubes and plastic bottles, and they have to manipulate that to get the food. And all of a sudden, they realize that the sky's not falling down simply because a bottle crinkled or
Mm.
fell out of the box. And so it's twofold. They're having fun. They're sniffing, which is their favorite, and that sniffing releases dopamine into their system, which is the feel good hormone. And they're discovering that novelty isn't as scary as they thought.
Right. That is true. It's true. Like I with dogs here, like I'll have a basket full of toys, and they have more fun rummaging through it and pulling out something. And each time it's something different that they pull out to play with. They get to choose what they want to play with, and because you just think, oh, here's the same toy, but they want to choose it themselves, and they like to sort of play and dig through the basket to see which one gets their attention today. So it's about changing that.
Absolutely, absolutely. When people tell me, "Oh, my dog has so many toys and doesn't want to play with any of them," I'm like, rotate them, rotate them, because having all those toys out all the time gets boring.
Mm.
Or put it in a box and let your dog figure out how to get it out of the box. Add a
Mm-hmm.
little dimension of a challenge or a puzzle. Like you said, you can do it quite easily with what you already have at home, and you're not spending any money.
But you also have those things which are really great because we have them, the snuffle balls and the snuffle mats. What are those things? They're really, really cool if nobody's heard of them before, but they're really, really good for dogs too.
Absolutely, because again, dogs are natural foragers and scavengers. That's what they do naturally. And so snuffle mats and snuffle balls allow them to expend that natural instinct to forage and scavenge. And
Mm-hmm.
again, if you think of food in a bowl, how fast a dog eats that food, as opposed to being able to forage or scavenge it, it's kind of like the difference between, well, I had this fast food burger, or I went to the fine dining restaurant and had a wonderful steak sandwich. The snuffle mats and snuffle balls give them a fine dining experience.
Right. Yeah. And what are they? So people understand. If people are probably going, "What's a snuffle mat, Siri?
So
What are they?"
so a snuffle mat is basically a mat. It
Mm-hmm.
can be in any shape, and it either has fabric and loops, or maybe it's just fleece strips that are knotted together. And the food is buried within that rug like pattern, and
Mm-hmm.
the dog has to find it with their nose. It's not necessarily that they can see it. A snuffle ball is fleece It's very dense and it has a lot of folds in it that you can also put food into. And again, they have to find the food within the folds. So they're expending mental energy doing it.
Yeah, and they're really good because we have them, and Benson loves his snuffle ball because it's really good. So, and you have them available for sale, obviously. I don't on at your facility. So, I encourage everybody to get them. They're really cool fun. So, as a rescue, it's really important for us to get our dogs ready for homes. And do you think that enrichment plays a role in maybe in a rescue dog's recovery? As you said, we have a lot of dogs that are shut down. They've come from trauma. They've come from abuse, neglect. How do you see like enrichment helping in a dog's development who have come from that kind of a background?
Oh my gosh, what a great, great question. Absolutely, enrichment matters because at the basis of enrichment is choice. So if your dog is, um, it's interesting. So let's say I put out a towel with some food on
Oh,
it, really basic, maybe scrunch it a little bit. So that's like a super easy snuffle mat. And the dog doesn't feel comfortable even taking the food out of that. That's information. That's like,
right.
whoa, okay, this dog is really shut down. We need to make it super easy. So you might scatter food on the floor because food is a primary need. Um, but in being able, in giving the dog agency through enrichment, you also build confidence. The dog who's been traumatized, right, they're rescued
Hmm.
for a multitude of reasons, starts to realize that they have choice in a world where they've had none before. And so that enrichment can really help to grow that dog's agency and confidence, but it can also help a dog to transition from, let's say, I went from being rescued, now I'm in a foster. Okay, snuffling becomes familiar, and now when I go to my new home, if I'm also snuffling, I feel like that's a great transitional
Hmm.
activity that the dog still feels like they have choice and agency. So yeah, it can be very, very helpful.
Yeah, it's and just seeing dogs like our dog Garda, who was very very shy in public, and just the way he's sort of come out of his shell. So I encourage people. Obviously, a lot of people might just if we're based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You're in the Grafton area, but there are probably and I'm going to encourage everybody after this to go check you out. And just so people know, can you maybe tell us where your facility is? So if people are in Wisconsin, Milwaukee area, Grafton area, where you currently are, and talk about your facility.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm in Grafton, Wisconsin. If you're familiar with the area, I'm a half mile off Highway 43. I also want to encourage everybody who has any kind of question about enrichment or how to start or make it, level it up for their individual dog. If you reach out to me, I am more than happy to talk to you about how you can add enrichment into your dog's daily life and help you to discover what your individual dog might need.
Great. Well, how can people get hold of you? So, what's the best
So,
way?
um, email Heidi at canineenrichment.center, or you can call area code 262 685 2559, and you can also text that number.
Wonderful. And you also have an Instagram page that I encourage people to go follow because what I love about your Instagram page is that you always put up on there what available appointments that you have for the day or for the upcoming week. That's really good. So then you can say, hey, that works for me. I can fit in it because it's like 30 minutes of really, really good quality time. And your spots fill up fast, which is amazing. But we would, you'd love to be sort of seeing more people because the work that you're doing to really help these dogs is amazing. And my dogs actually love it. And as you know, it's therapy for me because I work on doing this rescue stuff nonstop. And the only time I really get a good break is when I come to see you guys. And my other half, Teresa's always like, "This is like therapy for you, Helen." And I'm like, "Absolutely," because it's fun. I love hanging out with you. You're fun. You make it fun. My dogs actually love it. They come home exhausted, and it's a lot about me too, because I get to spend the quality time with the dog. So it's great. It's an all around great thing. And so I encourage anybody. And if you're not in the Wisconsin area, I would encourage you to check out facilities, because there are other facilities like this around the country. Correct? Probably not as good as yours, but I know there are. I would encourage people, and check out your YouTube page if you can't go to these things, is to check out just so you can show people some of the things that are creative that help your dog. Um, Anything else you want to add, maybe from a trainer perspective? Like, you do your training and you're always doing it from that perspective of a fun type of training, correct?
I am, and I would like to say that, no matter no matter what your dog, where your dog is at with you in your partnership, it's not all about constantly training. It's about discovery and enjoyment and unconditional love both ways. If you have a dog that's struggling, just keep in mind, your dog doesn't want to be struggling. They're not doing it to make you mad. They're not doing it to frustrate you.
Mm-hmm.
They're struggling too, and they need our support and our love and our desire to discover who they are as an individual, because they aren't just their breed. They are an individual, sentient being who's doing their best with the situation they're in. So look at your dog with new eyes, discover who they are, discover what they love to do, and share playtime with them both ways. Play the games you love, but then discover the games they love, and
Yeah,
you are
I
going
love that.
to discover a whole different layer to your dog, and you'll be surprised, and they
Yeah, you'll
will
be.
be so grateful.
And I love that, and I love that you just quickly touched on the fact that it's like it's not just it's every breed of dog you see, from Chihuahuas to Great Danes to. I mean, you're at your facility. You don't just see, like, people think, oh, my dog is not an agility dog because it's not a an Aussie dog or a collie or a border or a working kind of dog. You see all sorts of dogs, right?
Absolutely. Um, I see Russian Terriers, which are, 4 or 5 pounds. I see Irish Wolfhounds that are, like miniature ponies, and everything in between. And it is not about, you know, will my dog listen? This is about play. When you take your child to the playground, you don't tell them how to play on the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
You let them explore and discover. And that's what this is. And you get to do it alongside your dog. It's
Yep.
beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. I love that comparison about kids going to a playground, because it is. It's like you need to go down the slide like X, or you need to walk across this plank like X. It's just like, have at it, kids. I'm here, and I'll watch you, and I'll engage with you, and that's exactly what this is. This is playtime, and it's very important. Yes, there is a role for, obviously, for the training, for the structured training. That's very important as well. But this time is just like letting your hair loose, letting the dogs just play without pressure, and it's just another tool in the toolbox to sort of make your dog a better dog all round. And I absolutely love the work that you're doing. And I really wanted to thank you for joining for me today, for sharing your insight. I know that our listeners will take away some practical ideas and maybe a new perspective on what it really means to let dogs be dogs, right? So it's been great. And
Thank you so much, Helen, for this opportunity. I really appreciate the opportunity to spread the word about enrichment and play, and how incredibly important it is in our busy, busy world.
fantastic. And I'd also like to thank everybody for listening. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Rescue Dog Pod, please subscribe to our YouTube. We have it. You'll find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Rescue Dog Pod. And we'll update you constantly. And until next time, keep loving the underdogs and keep finding the wow in every dog. Thank you, everybody.